Oh dear. Well, hello and welcome to the Savvy Gadgetz channel with me, Ian, otherwise known as Ven. And yes, we're doing a live stream this week. My back is well enough for me to sit in the chair and actually do something for a long, extended period of time. So, if you've not been here before, welcome to the channel. But don't forget to hit like and subscribe and notifications. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can watch this stream on YouTube or on Twitch. So, Project Zomboid. Let's continue where we left off. We were continuing a character that started 3 or 4 months after an initial playthrough. So, we started off at West Point, which is one of the hardest places to start. I'm surprised they haven't added a start area for the new city that they added, which is Louisville. Let's have a quick look at the map, as always. So, this is the entire Project Zomboid map. Now, the map originally ended here, at this sort of like section here, and this section was added. Previous to that, you had the different towns you've got over here. Rosewood, so we just zoom in there. So that's Rosewood. That's where we started our first character. Falcon, hello! Yes, it has been a while. 3 weeks, I think. If you didn't see the previous live streams, I've been flat on my back, unable to walk or crawl or even sit. So yes, I am much better, thank you. I'm back to work tomorrow. But unfortunately, my wife, about an hour ago, managed to trip down the stairs. She's hurt her ankle, so I'm going to be doing a lot of house chores this week. So it never rains, it pours. Not only that, we've had several power cuts today, so this could be a very short-lived live stream. Anyway, thanks for dropping in, Vulcan. Nice to see you. But I was just explaining. So this is Rosewood, and we initially played some characters here for 3 or 4 months. We created a base from the fire station, which is this building just here, and then we moved out towards this lake to these buildings where these characters still reside. I can go back in and I can still play them. You might notice that the idea of wearing a green t-shirt for a green screen wasn't the best idea. So been in a bit of a rush this morning, so I had to dive out to Tesco's to get supplies for my daughter who needs to do some cooking at school tomorrow. So anyway, you have a small area here, but you've got Riverside up here on the sort of like top of the end of the map. Then you've got Muldra. This is that stretched out area there. There's some sort of community college type area here. The prison's up there, I think, or no, prison's there. Not prison, penitentiary. And then West Point is down here, and then you've got Louisville, which is this really large urban area over here. And I know that Joe, who regularly pops in on the chat, has been here for a while, had a few bits and pieces there. And we took a look around this area previously. So we then created a new character, or then created a new character 4 months after, because we were surviving really easily out in the sticks. So we paved our way through West Point, and we're now, if I go back to the map, we're now up here by this lake, and we're making a base out of this house just here. We're fishing, gathering food and trapping down in this area here, and we're making trips into West Point to scavenge food and that kind of thing, and we seem to have plenty of it. So let's load up. And I haven't played this since my last actual live stream before doing my back in. So I will do what I usually do and explain everything as I go along. So it could be a short live stream. I'm not going to be here for much past 2:30 because I've got a lot more to do now that my wife's off of her feet. And where the hell am I? Okay. Right, that's semi-unexpected. I can't remember where I was. It's like, oh God, what was I doing? I was looking for cars. That's what I was trying to do, and I can't remember where I left. There's Spiffos. Joe! Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Good vibes and all of that. Yes, I have survived. I am alive and living. and I can't remember where I parked the car. I can't even remember what my car looks like. It's been that long. Yeah, okay, so this is going to be an interesting live stream because I've got to think a couple of weeks ago. What have I got on my backpack? Oh, I've got a load of stuff which I really ought to. I've got food, so I've got food. I've probably got water, yeah. So let's drink some water because the character's hideously tired. Let's eat some chips. It's beef jerky, that'd probably be better. That'll keep me going for longer. The character's very tired. Doesn't look like I've been down the map much here. So the car might be on the road. In fact, that might be my car just there. Ah, yeah, it's missing windscreen. Yeah, I think that's the car. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's my car. Right, okay, cool. So it's getting late in the day. Where am I? Oh, there's some Z's. There's a couple of Z's just over there. I don't want to engage those if I can help it. Honestly, I don't know where I am. It's like, oh god, really? Where am I? It's one of those, I didn't get a chance to do anything prior to the stream. Let's put those in the back there. Let's drop the can on the floor. The roasting pan can go in the back of the car for the time being. I don't need to carry that around with me. That'll take it off the weight, so I'm more likely to carry on. Right, so let's have a look. By Spiffos and Nolans. If I remember rightly, if we zip out here, pretty sure I think we're around. No, we're not. Oh no! Got to be further down here, isn't it? That could be where we are. We might be here. It's possible. I think I was trying to check out the garage, wasn't I, or something for bits and pieces. Well, let's take a look around, because the other option is that we could be out this way. In fact, I think that's exactly we're here. This is where we are. We're in the middle of nowhere, of course. Where else would I be? Oh, I can hear an ice cream van. And I was thinking about coming over here and checking this out. Oh, that's it. I was looking for the farming magazine. Yeah, that's okay, Joe. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for saying hi. You know, spend quality time with your mum. It's always a good thing to do on a Sunday. So I think we could probably take a little jaunt down here around the corner and see what's there. I was looking for the farming magazine, which I was hoping to find in one of the garages, but I think that might be a red herring. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. We'll quickly check that out. Oh, I haven't got my headphones on, have I? That'd be a good thing. I can hear zombies going meh at me then. Yeah, because I seem to remember bashing my car around and it not being in the best shape anymore. Because my character's tired, combat is not going to be an effective weapon. And I don't want to bash my car around, because I think I've done a little bit too much of that already, and I don't want it breaking down on me again. Yeah, because I haven't been out this way because the map's filling itself out. Oh, okay. There's some interesting. Oh, that might be an interesting. There's some nice looking cars there. So That might be a comeback when I'm not tired. So I'm going to head back if I don't crash into anything. Especially disease. And we may come back here. Fuel could be a bit of an issue. Yeah, I need to go in this direction. I need to keep going this way. Head back into West Point, and then from there I can find my way back to the base. Gonna take it nice and easy. At least the snow's kind of melting. That's a lot further than I thought. Gonna head back to base. They're all standing in lines. They're queuing for something, look. Don't quite know what, but there's a guy with a bag. Again, tired, combat, they don't mix. Like, at all. Not sure that is. Oops, I think I just ran over a zombie. Why do I get the feeling that that was actually the off-ramp just there that I needed? This one just there. Yeah. Oh hello. Lots of unpleasants. And I think once car's there, once I've come off of there, I need the second left, and then that should take me all the way home. Right, okay, cool. So not that one, but this one. Getting dark, let's put some lights on. So I can see those dreaded Z's. Yeah, so I haven't really been doing a lot for the last couple of weeks other than laying on my back, trying not to be in a lot of pain. But I've caught up on my Netflix series, so I've watched the entire fourth season of Stranger Things and the Umbrella Academy. What else have I watched? I've started watching Van Helsing again, season 3. At some point I really need to sort of finish watching iZombie. You can see a theme here. There's my old van which collapsed on me. Really gonna have to do something with this car, because again this car's beginning to see the end of days. I mean, the car, hopefully the car will die before I do, but oh, Peaky Blinders. One of my friends really enjoys it. I've never seen an episode of it. That's with Killian something or another, isn't it? He's a really good actor. He was Scarecrow in one of the Batman movies. But yeah, I've never seen it. Apparently it's really good. That whole sort of like gang thing has never really appealed to me and my wife. So yeah. So what's it like, Vulcan? Tell us more. What do you like about it? Oh, I also have been watching a lot of Warzone live streams as well, because couldn't actually play it. I actually had a few rounds this morning, doing the Storage Town Clash, which I'm absolutely loving, and getting my snipe on with the 3-line. Oh, hello. That's not normal. And no, that's the wrong way. I've done it again. Fair enough. That's just damaged the car. I am a terrible driver in this game, it has to be said. Cool, we have made it home. Oh. I'm going to take my character straight to bed because they're very, very, very tired, because it says the moodlet here. It's assuming they don't have to fight their way for it because there's respawns. No, that's always good, Vulcan. I mean, it's what? Why is my character woken up after an hour of sleep? You're still tired. Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, I used to. I never really got into things like Goodfellas and that whole sort of like gangs sort of style of filmography and TV's series like Sopranos. I never really got into that either. And apparently they were really good. I mean, we tend to watch things like we tend to watch crime dramas like FBI Most Wanted. We've been watching. We've been watching 911 Lone Star this weekend because it came onto Disney Plus, and so we've been binge watched the first season yesterday, and we're on to the second season today. And we watched the original 911 as well. We haven't seen all of those. What else have we watched? We're watching Miss Marvel, often because it's of Disney, and Orville. Absolutely loving Orville. I haven't got to see the last couple of episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, but I've been enjoying that as well. Because let's face it, I've had nothing else to do for the last 3 weeks other than watch TV. I haven't been able to move. Yeah, it's my wife's turn because she's hurt her ankle and she's going to push herself, as she does. Let's drink some all the sights. So when things have lightened up, I'm sure I've got some sleeping tablets around this, although I shouldn't really need them considering my character is tired. Let's eat some food. Didn't really come back with a lot of food, but then I wasn't actually looking for food specifically. I don't want to eat cockroach. So the corned beef. So cans in Project Zomboid. There are basically two types. You've got the sort of square-looking cans like corned beef, sardines, and tuna, which have, in real life they have like a ring pull on, and same in Project Zomboid, you don't need a can opener to open them. You can just open them and eat them. But for round cans, you need a can opener, which is why in my inventory, in my main inventory, I've got a can opener. So you'll get all sorts of different cans. But you can also, if you're creating a roast from meat, we'll do that as we're lumbering around. There's that roasting pan in the back of the car, isn't there? That one. Take that. Should have some meat in one of these cooler boxes though. So jar of carrots. We've got some fresh carrots, right? So let's add the carrots. Let's grab the rabbit meat. I'll grab the second roasting pan. And what we can do is, once we've got the ingredients, we'll actually dive inside. And not there, we'll actually stand by one of the counters over here. Right, so to create healthy meals in the Project Zomboid is to alleviate your character from boredom, hunger, and unhappiness. So your character will get unhappy and depressed and that can, you know, this game is designed to kill you, and depression manifests itself in different ways, but it can be alleviated with antidepressants or with good cooking. And so going down the good cooking route is we're going to create a roast from the rabbit that we've got. You can create it from beef jerky. If you've got a frying pan, you can create a stir fry from vegetables and that sort of thing. Again, healthy food is always good. So that's one. So we've got one there, it's got rabbit meat in it. So we'll do the same with the other one. So create a roast from rabbit. And we should have, we've still got plenty left. Did I pick up the carrots? Are they in my main inventory? So yeah, so we've got carrots. So what we can actually do is we can actually right click and then we can add more meat to it, or we can add other things like vegetables. So we're going to add in some fresh carrots. We'll add in those ones. And we'll add in the other carrots, or same carrots. And this increases the nutritional value of the food, but also increases the overall happiness that you get from the food as well. Then you can add spices like pepper or honey and salt. Let's just take a look here. I mean, we can add butter, soy sauce. We've got pepper. I'm pretty sure salt is on there. If you add some salt, there'll be some salt on there as well. I'm surprised though, because I actually got ketchup, but I'm not allowed to put ketchup on it. Maybe it has to be cooked first. I don't know. That's a new one. But we can also add not dog food, although you could add dog food. If we open up another can, open up a can here. Typically. Right, so we will go with canned corn. So we'll open the canned corn, like so. And what we can do with the canned corn is we can then add canned corn. So let's just take a look at this to start off with. So hunger -17, -1 thirst, -10 unhappiness. So we then right click and add the canned corn. So we've now got rabbit meat with vegetables. It's now +32 or -32 to hunger, -15 to unhappiness. It's gone down by 5. It alleviates more unhappiness, and it's gone down by another 4 for thirst. So that's basically what it is. Now if we add, so we added some spice, pepper and spice. There we go. We then give it an extra 2, and now it's actually alleviating boredom as well. So there we go. So let's do that with let's add some pepper on there as well, and then we've got 2 healthy meals which we can cook in an oven or a barbecue. Now we can cook in an oven because we've got a generator and we've got petrol, and that means we can turn on the lights, we can turn on the oven, and once we've cooked our food we can turn it off again, or we can use the barbecue that we've got outside or the fireplace. Right. Not particularly interested in that at the moment because I'm kind of hoping my character is going to be very tired. I'm going to drop the tin can on the floor and put the rabbit meat back in there as well. That'll help keep it fresh. And then we're going to try and go to sleep again because my character is an idiot. I know I'm going to have 1 hour's sleep and that will be enough. No, it will not. You will sleep longer for about 30 minutes apparently. Oh, that's better. Having a panic attack. Right. Let's open the corned beef and eat that. That will alleviate some of our hunger. So we are absolutely very hungry. Keep us alive. At least it's 4 in the morning. No longer tired. That's a good thing. Right. Let us cook these two delicious meals. Right. Have I got meat in there as well? I do. Good grief, I've got more. Can I put that in there? Yeah, probably. There we go. Look at that. Let's take these. Oh, it's beginning to get light. Right, so let's grab some twigs off of the floor so that we stand a chance of actually lighting the barbecue. Twigs and a lighter. And then we add to that, and then we prop them open. As you can see, the nutritional values. This one is more nutritious because I added the corn, and you can see that they're now cooking. They'll take a time to cook. Obviously, the barbecue, as it's fired, needs fuel, and you can inspect this by actually looking at it and going barbecue info, and it says fuel for 12 hours, which is fine. Okay, Vulcan, thanks for dropping into the stream. Thanks for dropping into the chat saying hi. Hope you have a good week, and I will see you next week. Thanks for joining. See you later. If you are watching, don't forget to say hi on the chat. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask. Get on the chat, ask. I will do my best to answer. I will go through the mechanics of the game. So let's just pin that open and quickly speed it up a bit. So obviously you gain experience from cooking, and the more experienced you are at cooking, flip over from cooking to burning, so grab it and that on as well, and then we put out the fire. Right, so we now have two very healthy, nutritious meals which will alleviate our hunger for days. Well, at least today and tomorrow with a bit of luck. Right, so we've got an empty bottle. Right, so water. I don't mention this often enough, but water is one of the harder things to come by. At least clean water. There's loads of water all over the place, and then there's lakes and rivers. Which is why I've come to the lake. Now, you can get fresh water in several different ways. Now, in this particular playthrough, the water stopped flowing through the taps a long time ago. However, taps do still contain some residual water, so you can still get water that way. The other way is to get a cooking pot, put it on a fire of some point with water in it, and eventually, in the matter of a few minutes, the water will come up and it will become clean. It will stop being called tainted and will become clean. The other way, which is a bit of a more permanent way, is when it rains, you can catch rain in these sort of like rain catcher barrels, and you can see there's two above my head on this platform. Now, the way I did this is I climbed out this window, built some platforms, and then built those on the top. Now you need some planks, and you need some nails and a hammer, and you need some garbage bags, and these catch water. Then if you look through here, you can see there's the sink. Now if you put on the level above a rain catcher barrel in the sort of like 8 squares around the sink, so this is on sort of like in front of it, and then you use a pipe wrench, and it has to be a pipe wrench. You right click on the sink with a pipe wrench in your inventory, and it will allow you to plumb it in. Now, even though when it rains the water in here is referred to as tainted, when it comes out of the tap because it's plumbed in, it comes out as fresh water. So it's always worth remembering. So it's worth doing, and it takes about carpentry level 4 to do, just to make the rain catcher barrels. You don't need any specific skills in plumbing. It just works. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill our empty bottle of water. Now, it hasn't rained for a while. It has snowed, which isn't doing me any favours at all. Oh, I've got a trowel in my fanny pack. Right, so I need to sort out my inventory a bit, but first I need to check on the composter. That's still composting stuff. Hopefully worms will turn up soon. I don't think I baited my traps, but what we'll do is we'll grab... No, that's not looking good either. Grab some carrots. Right, so we'll check on our farm. So we've got some crops growing down here. So we've got carrots, potatoes, strawberries. So if we take a look at this, so well watered, this is good. Blooming strawberry plants. However, there is no option to harvest. So let's have a look at the potatoes. Again, nothing to harvest. Well watered, flourishing, well watered. Young carrots, still they're all doing well. Everything looks good. No diseases. This is good. Right, fantastic. Right, so let's go check out our traps. And you can see it's foggy. Could do with some worms actually. Have I got a shovel in my backpack? I think I have. Got a trowel, so I don't think it's worth trying to forage, but I'll explain how foraging works. So, foraging. You use this magnifying glass over here on the left hand side, and it brings up this investigate area icon. Now, you can search for specific foods or insects or wild plants or firewood or trash, but this area here, this window pane, if you hover your mouse over it like I have, it actually gives you an indication of what kind of things you're going to find here. So it actually says at the very top of my list, it has actually just changed as well. It does change depending on what's happened. So mushrooms are more common after rainfall, but it says here that firewood is more common because we're in a forest area. Now if we move further down, this actually stops being a forest area and it becomes, there's forest, deep forest, and there's vegetation. It's now changed. You can see that there's trees, and it now says firewood is common, animals are common, food is common, stones are common, but insects and berries are rare. So we're likely to find be able to trap things, I guess, is what that means. And oh look, one of our traps has indeed, you can spot the difference. This is an armed trap, whereas this one has in it a trowel. No, it doesn't. It has a dead bird. So we can butcher the bird because we have a knife, and that then provides us with meat that we can create roasts from and other foods, and that will keep us going for a while. As you can see, for that you need worms, works a treat, but for these you need to add some carrots. So add the carrots, which is why we're growing carrots, and hopefully in about 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we'll be able to come back and we'll be able to trap our stick traps. So there's two traps there. Stick traps for birds, you bait them with worms or seeds. Worms seems to work well, but if you trap the box traps with carrots, you tend to get rabbits. If you bait them with nuts, you can actually get squirrels, but rabbits are provide more meat than squirrels because it's just the way that it is. Right, so back to foraging. So we're in a vegetation area. It says firewood's common, and this will change. This has changed as we've walked around, and it will change depending on the time of year. For my character, it is the 12th of January. He has survived through Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's. And if you look back in the list of videos, there were some quite exciting times in those, and we collected some party hats, which was very nice. But to initiate the foraging mode, you press the enable search, and because it's got that focused area around the character. Now, if you run, this will break. And you will stop searching, but what you can do is you can improve your ability to find things, and this is indicated by this vision effectiveness. Now you can see the weather effect, because it is foggy, it's minus 56%. Now we can increase our chances by crouching, and that gives us a plus 10 to it's a crouching bonus, plus 10 to vision effective. But the vision radius itself is very small. Or we can use the aim, which then gives us a massive plus 33. But as the weather is having such a detrimental effect, I don't think it's going to help us at all. So you then now have to wander around. I'm not expecting to find anything. If I do, it's a miracle. What will happen is a little eye icon appears over the head of the character, and like a small V-shaped arrow pointing at the area where you can go to pick up what they've seen. Hopefully we'll find something, although let's face it, considering the impact of the... Oh, there we go, look. So this is, you right click on it and it's a stone. Now if you want the stone, that's fine, you can pick it up, put it in your backpack, or you can just discard it and you still get experience points for doing that. But I'm not particularly interested in that at the minute, so we're not particularly being hassled by zombies up here, which is good. Right, so let's get rid of some of these. And that allows us to dig furrows again. Now you can dig graves and put dead bodies in it if you really wanted to. Right, so character's hungry, so let's eat our... Let's eat half of that for the time being. Oh, that didn't seem... No, eating, there we go. Let's see, that alleviates some of our hunger. Yep, it does, right. Okay, cool. And we will dig some furrows, and hopefully this will give us some worms. It gave us one worm. Give us two to bait both of the traps, that would be useful. Come on, you know you want to. Yeah, there we go. Right, so let's equip ourselves with the crowbar again. Right, so we're going to add the worms as bait, and then hopefully again, just like the box traps we've got over here, we'll get some good meat out of it. Right, so there we go. Right. Okay, so those are the main ways in which you can feed yourself. You can grow crops from seeds, and it's what you do is if you plant several rows, you let the first one go to seed, and then you harvest the second one, and then you plant more as you go along, which is what's happening with my farm. The other way is trapping, which we've just demonstrated, and out of trapping you get dead animals for you to butcher, turn into meat, which you can then put into stir fries and roasts and this, that and the other, which will keep you going for longer. You can also eat the vegetables you grow, you can add those into your roasts, create food from those as well. Again, food, creating healthy, nutritious meals helps prevent your happiness and being unhappy. It creates you happy, keeps you happy. But there is one other way in which you can get food. I'm just going to dump a load of stuff in the back of the car because I'm carrying a load of rubbish around with me. Chips, I'm going to keep the cockroach. Let's come and get them. A spear with a butter knife. Okay, great. This is just what I've always wanted. I think that's everything. I'm just going to dump it on the floor for the time being. I've got meat to put in. Well, I'll just come back and pick it up now. One of these cleavers is looking in bad condition. I have used it rather a lot. Can I put that in there? I can. Good. Right. Okay, so obviously the next way to find food you may be asking yourself is fishing. I have actually caught some fish, although it's been pretty difficult, but there are two different ways you can fish. The first way is obviously with a fishing rod. Now, you either find a fishing rod or you can make a fishing rod. You can make a fishing rod through the use of carpentry. If you forage and you find a tree branch, you can then, with a tree branch and a chipped stone, create a spear. And from that you can create, you go spear fishing. Or if you've got twine, or a screw or a paper clip and a tree branch, you can create yourself a fishing rod. Now I've actually got some fishing rods here. Here's one I prepared earlier. So we'll put it in a backpack, and I think I need one because we've actually got a cockroach. Now when you find cockroaches when you're foraging is one of those things that you're going to have to do a fair bit of. You can find cockroaches, grasshoppers, worms, obviously from digging. You can use worms as bait. All can be used as bait for your rod. So the first way, obviously, if you just go right click on a body of water, go fishing. Now if you've got a rod, it will give you the option here. You can say, I actually want to put this in my hiking bag, and I'm going to use the cockroach as bait. Now if you have other animals like grasshoppers or worms, they will appear there, and you can just go, okay, I'm going to fish, and character will get the fishing rod in their hands, and they will attach the cockroach or whatever as bait, and they will stand there and fish. Now there are pros and cons of this. The pros are that you might actually catch a decent sized fish which will feed your character for a few days. The cons are you might catch a pair of socks. Also, whilst doing this, you're facing one particular way all the time, so a zombie can obviously sneak up behind you. So let's say this is usually a dangerous manoeuvre, but as there are no zombies around, I'm just going to speed it up. So we'll actually catch anything. But you might just lose your bait and that'll be the end of it. Which is exactly what's just happened. Right, so I haven't caught fish, it didn't list it up there. There's nothing new in my hiking bag. So let's just eat all of that because I'm hungry again. And tired again. Deep joy. And so this time I actually used the spear. So swapping out the spear for the fishing rod, and character will stand there and stab the water until they catch a fish or catch a pair of shoes. They'll just continue. Again, you can speed time up here, and that will be that you may or you may not catch a fish. It seems that spear fishing is not as good as fishing in a normal sense. It's alright, Bella's just come to visit. She's just read my green. You can see the green screen flicker down the bottom left there. You alright there, Belle? Bella's my dog, one of the 3 that I own. Yes, good girl, settle down. She's come to visit. She likes to spend her time with me. And that's how you catch fish. But obviously, let's have a look at my skill level in fishing. So skills. My fishing isn't that great. My trapping's improving by quite a bit. But you can see my foraging is by far the most practiced. Now you can see these arrows here beside the different skills. These are because I've read books, and these are bonus experience points that I get from doing the things that I'm doing. So you can see this one's much further along. I'm actually getting a multiplier of 8 on my foraging because I've read the, let's see, that's like there's two levels per. Hey, Super Tone, how are you doing? These 2 are book 1, then the next 2 are book 2, and I'm on book 3 at the minute. And once I get through this level, I'll be on to book 4. Right, so yeah, Supertone. Hey, how you doing? Hope you've had a good week. I'm obviously back in the chair, having recovered from my back injury. I'm back to work tomorrow. I'm not doing very well with our fishing, so I'm going to get rid of everything. And so you read a book, you gain additional experience points, and that allows you to level up things quicker. That goes in there. Keep the carrots and the roasting pan. I think we'll bung the tin can in there. Don't really need to carry that around with us, and the shovel can go in the backpack. Right. Okay. Now the other nice thing about a spear is one of the easiest weapons to make. Provided you can find a tree branch and a chipped stone, you can create a spear. It is one of the better weapons in the game because if you have a chain link fence or a grooved fence like this one, you can actually stab zombies through it, which is fantastic. The only problem, again, like everything, it has its downside. It does level up your carpentry, which is fantastic. But at the same time, they don't tend to last very long if your carpentry skill isn't that good. Now, if we take a look at some of the ones that I've made, which are lying on the floor over here, you can see that I've got quite a few of them. These are all in good condition, but you can see that it actually does almost half the bar of damage. And if you take a look at the weapon I'm currently wielding, which is a crowbar, the spears actually do more damage. But the crowbar is far more durable. It's one of my favourite weapons. Now, the difference between having a blunt weapon and a sharp weapon is, and this leads into another. It's absolutely mind-blowing how this game fits together. But what that means is, with a sharp weapon, when you're attacking a zombie, it will shred the clothes. It will damage the clothes that they're wearing. If you're using a blunt instrument, like a baseball bat or a crowbar, it won't. And you can then use those clothes in different ways. You can either rip them up and use to craft a sheet rope from them, or you can rip them up and create bandages from them. Now, if you get hurt, a bandage is going to save your character from bleeding out. Now, I'm playing in builder mode, which is an easy, relaxed experience, being bitten by zombies. Or you can see my rain catcher barrels filling up, look, from the snow, look, over here. That you can see it's actually got water in it. But it's an easier experience. You're less likely to die if you get bitten. There's proof of this when the van broke down on me, which I mentioned earlier. I had to get out of the van. I got bitten several times. I managed to limp away far enough to bandage my character up, and then lose sight of the zombies. So combat. Let's talk about combat. So if a zombie sees you, they will or hears you, they will follow you. They will go, the character's over there, the person that I'm trying to get to is over there, and it is line of sight. So LOS, line of sight. So in order to escape one or many zombies, you've got two options. First, don't run. Second, walk, and don't crouch. So walking, you will actually outpace any zombie in the game. However, if you're overloaded, you will become exerted, and that will slow you down. So you need to make sure that there isn't an icon over here saying that you're struggling or exerted in any way. Because if you run, you will just exhaust yourself more. If you stand and fight, you will exhaust yourself more, and you're more likely to end up being savaged by a pack of zombies. So what you then do is you can break line of sight in several different ways. You can either walk around some trees. So you can see that the car is there, but if I walk around the tree, if you think the car is as zombies, that it's now disappeared, they've lost line of sight. you now have the opportunity to, escape, as it were. The other is to go through a building, if you go through a door, shut the door behind you, go into a room out the back, and then out through a back window, and then carry on. They will go to the door, break down the door, then go to the door where they last saw you, they'll break down that door, and then you're not there, you're long gone. So that's how you deal with it. If you have to fight, then try and back up. So aiming at the zombie, try and back up. Try and keep an eye on what's happening behind you as well, just in case more zombies join the fight. But by and large, if you try and keep these packs of zombies small, then you're more likely to survive the experience. But like I say, you can just walk away from them. Right, so this is good because it's raining. So that means I've got plenty of water, so I'm going to have a drink. Oh yes. Yeah, of course, there are guns in the game. But obviously shooting a gun makes an awful lot of noise. So generally if you want to die, pull out a gun and start shooting. It is your last resort, really. But that is what it is. It's sort of like a common sense kind of thing. Don't make any noise, and you won't attract too much attention. So yeah, Supertone was doing alright. We were fighting a cold. Like last night was in Sufal's. Oh right, okay. The Children's Cancer Research. Yes, so that's interesting. So you don't have COVID's on the rise again over here in the UK. I don't know what it's like over there for you, Supertone, because I know you're out in Dakota. It's becoming quite rife again, and for my wife at least, and probably the same is going to be true of myself, is we're not going to have like the same kind of immunity that we're used to. Okay, that's good. I hate colds. Ever since having the dreaded COVID, I've when I have a cold, it tends to just wipe me out completely. And it's not that I'm suffering from really bad cold symptoms, like I'm really coughing, I've got a really runny nose, or I've got a steaming headache. I just seem to have absolutely mild, those symptoms in a mild sense, but then I'm absolutely have no energy to do anything, and it really annoys me. Because normally I can fight off a cold, and it's not a problem, and with ibuprofen I can carry on, but it just doesn't seem to be the way since having COVID. It's just not a thing for anymore. Right, so it's getting late in the day. I think by the time we've walked down here. Anyway, glad you're alright, Supertone. Hope you're feeling better. I am. I'm in the chair. Like I said earlier, I managed to play a few rounds of Storage Town Clash. They've added Storage Town to Warzone. I absolutely love playing Warzone. I haven't been able to do that for a long time. So we'll check out our traps, see if we've caught anything. Well, so nothing in that trap, but we've got something in this one. So we baited all of these traps this morning, and this one has brought us the joy of birds. So butcher the bird. There we go. So we have even more bird meat. I've got loads of meat. We'll come back and check those in the morning. So check your traps between 5 and 8 in the morning, 5 and 8 at night, provided they've got bait. And you should find that you can catch something at the very least. Interesting to see. So I'm almost not far off of getting the next level in trapping, which means I'll need to read the next book. So one of the things that I've done through the previous playthrough on this save and this one is gather books. and I've managed to gather quite a few, quite a good collection. So 1 to 5. Now I am using a mod called Book Collection, and it renames the books so that they're actually called Vol 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. They're not normally called that, so it's worth looking at that mod and having it. It just makes life a little bit easier. And as you can see, I've got in this bookcase, I've got all of the things that help me with finding food. So cooking as well. So farming. I'm missing volume 3 of farming. Fishing volumes 1 to 5. Foraging 1 to 5. Trapping 1 to 5. So have I got fishing in there? I did say fishing, didn't I? Yeah, fishing. So I've got all of the books that I might possibly need to keep myself fed, gain all the experience points from performing those operations. And in the other one, I've got things like electronics, first aid, guerrilla radio magazines, mechanics, metalwork, tailoring, and all that sort of thing. So we've gathered magazines for the different skills and the books to go with them. And at the start of this, or the end of the last stream that I was actually able to play in, and the start of this one, I was trying to find the farming magazine, which gives me the recipe for pesticide, so that I can treat my plants in my farm for any fly pests or diseases. I haven't been able to find that, which is very disappointing. But it's actually still raining, isn't it? So this is good. So I've got 2 rain catcher barrels here. Not sure what's going on with that one. I suspect that that's the one that's actually plumbed into my sink, not that one. So, but at least hopefully I can just decant from there into there and do something. Right, so if we go and check out the foraging again, and this is something I actually said earlier, in that mushrooms are more likely to appear after rainfall. So let's turn on the investigate area. Let's see. So mushrooms are extremely rare in an urban area. Oh, what a surprise. So it's now vegetation, and it says mushrooms are now common, whereas before it didn't say that. So this has changed based on the weather conditions. So let's go further down from the forest to the vegetation area. Funny enough, that looks like mushrooms just there. So no vegetation. It now says mushrooms are still rare, oddly enough. So let's enable the search mode. Actually they're stones. Let's see if we can. Let's go up here to forest, where it actually says mushrooms are common. Well, let's have a quick wander around here, see whether we can crouch to give ourselves that +10 bonus. See whether we can find some mushrooms. I'm not expecting it because of the time of year. So because it's January, I'm not expecting mushrooms to be a thing. But it's worth a go. Who knows, right? So we're now back into an urban area. So might be worth going further up that way. This isn't a very big patch of area to check out. Right, so we've actually found a tree branch there. Discard that. So don't need tree branches. I've got plenty of spears to keep me going. I always keep a few in the back of my car when I have to go out, along with some other. Let's check. So let's see if we've got a deep forest area. So we've got vegetation forest, and then at some point, hopefully, I think this becomes deep forest. It might not, but it is getting dark. Alright, so now we're actually seeing these symbols, these question marks. This means you're not going to find anything in this area. Although, to be fair, having done this previously, that's not strictly true. Oh! Oh! Ah, winter berries! Excellent. Didn't think I'd find any of those again, but yeah, berries are really useful. This is another aid to cooking. With winter berries, you can feed yourself in several different ways. And a winter berry, if you eat any of the berries that you find lying around, we know in an urban area. Let's disable that and stand up straight. Let's go over here. Right, so if you have a bowl and a knife, whether that's a hunting knife, a butter knife, or any other kind of knife, or a cleaver like I have, in your inventory, you can eat the berries straight away. And what they will do is they will negate thirst and hunger, but they won't help your unhappiness. So what we'll do is we'll actually use those. So I've got a bowl, and we've got the winter berries in our backpack over here. So what we'll do is, if we have a look at those, it says that it will minus 14 hunger, minus 1 thirst. Other berries will do more, but if we do right click the bowl and create a fruit salad from random berries, or even from this fresh berry here, they're cutting it up, and it will now do hunger, thirst and unhappiness. So again, cooking is your path to happiness. Creating nutritious food will help keep your sanity, or at least your character's sanity. So there we go. So, foraging for mushrooms, foraging for berries, it just fed my characters through the summer. It was just fantastic. Right, so there we go. I'm actually going to eat some of this as well, because I actually need, my character's very underweight. Now if we look at the stats of my character, the info, you can see this icon here, it says very underweight, so I need to eat a lot of food. And it actually says the weight here is 57, whatever that is. It could be pounds, not entirely sure, but so I need to actually get about another 20 on there, so I need to eat more food. So this is something that you can actually do, but obviously you need the food to do it. So what I'm going to do, if you can keep myself well fed, so I'm actually going to eat another quarter of that. We have got plenty of meat, let's face it. Yeah, that goes in there. So what we can create plenty of roasted food and create stir fries and God knows what else. So we're not going to die anytime soon. Not of hunger, certainly not of thirst, because it's now raining and we can drink, eat and drink and be merry. So that's trapping with traps that are made. You can catch things like mice and rats with these kind of traps, standard mouse traps, and the best bait for those is chocolate and cheese. So there we go. So we've actually explained quite a lot this week. We've only got about 15 minutes left because I need to go and tend to my wife. Yeah, so unfortunately my wife managed to fall down the stairs a few steps today. She's really hurt her ankle quite bad. So I'm going to be doing a lot of the chores around the house today. Just as well, my back's better. I'm going back to work tomorrow. So she's not going to work tomorrow, so I'll be looking after my wife and getting the children out the door first thing in the morning. So let's get this character off to bed for about 5 minutes, because that's what usually happens. It's like, I'm not tired. I'm not just a little bit tired, I'm extremely tired, but I'm not going to go and stay asleep. So there we are, a couple of hours, and they're already awake. God damn it. Right, so let's go downstairs and read a book. Now, one of the traits that I took was slow reader. I'm kind of regretting that now. So let's have a look at our skills. So you might notice I've got quite a few different skills here. I don't know whether you can see them, but one of the skills that I usually take all of the time is outdoorsman. Outdoorsman is really useful because it's this leafy one here. if you're walking through trees and bushes, you're less likely to get cut. If you get damp and wet from the rain or from sweating too much, it will stop you from catching a cold. And if you catch a cold, of course you're making noise, you're coughing, you're sneezing, you're attracting zombies. So, you know, outdoorsman is one of the best traits you can take. Now, in order to add more positive traits like light eater, thick-skinned, inconspicuous, and I think there's a low thirst one somewhere as well. Wakeful. That's probably why my character's not sleeping very much. I had to have some negatives, and so the negatives I actually took, I think, were hard of hearing, so you're less likely to hear a zombie approaching you from behind, and slow reader, which I kind of regret. So again, out of shape. Now we're wondering whether out of shape can be, you know, trained out of the character, not by using that, but by doing exercise. Health. So you do some exercise, you can do some squats, push-ups, burpees, sit-ups, that kind of thing. If you do them regularly, they will increase the strength of your character and the overall fitness of your character. But whether it actually affects something like out of shape or not, we don't know. Gonna have to sort of like look into that, I guess. But you can definitely alter your weight. Now my character wasn't underweight when they started playing through, but obviously there's, you know, they're suffering from a weight problem because there's not a lot of food about. So I'm going to try and keep my character fed. Like I say, I've got plenty of food, I've got plenty of meat. The character's not going to go hungry anytime soon. Plus, you know, with things going so well as they are, it's not going to be a thing. Right, so back to skills. So getting 3 points for fishing because it's only in the first book. Same with trapping and electrical and farming. Now book 2 gives you 5. And right, so carpentry level 5. Now I'm not going to probably do too much carpentry, so I'm not particularly worried about that. But I am kind of more worried about my fishing and my trapping. But they're already, I've already read those books, so they will level up quite nicely and nice and quick. So back to bed for my character anyway. Sleep longer than 2 hours. Wake up at 4 o'clock again in the morning. 5 o'clock instead. Guess that's an improvement, because at the moment daylight is turning up reasonably early in the morning for the character. Right, so let's go check our traps. We'll get our cook on as well. So this is like the day-to-day. Right, so one of the other things about Project Zomboid that's coming along, its future projects, is NPCs. Now, okay, it already has NPCs in the form of zombies. We're actually talking about other survivors, other survivor NPCs. Now, there was a mod, which I've actually used, that was quite a few years ago. I don't know whether it still works. And that was called Super Survivors. And that introduced sort of NPCs, but it was a third-party mod, and so it didn't work entirely well, but it did add some interest to the game. And look, you see this trap here has yielded more meat for us, another bird, so we'll butcher that. There we go, so plenty more meat, but check our other traps. That's still got bait, because it says I can remove it, and so is that. So I might come back a bit later. So let's go create some food. So Indie Stone, the developers of Project Zomboid, what they're going to do, or what they're working on, and that was before they released multiplayer, which was in December. they're working on adding in NPCs, and the NPCs are going to have backstories. They're going to be, living lives outside of what you can see. So they may come wandering through your base, or you may come across one. And the way that they described, or it was described by actually Mr. Atomic Duck, who does some fantastic videos, the way that he described it, from what had been laid out by the two. Oh, those have gone rotten. That's bad. Oh, they'll just end up in the thingy. Let's put the rotten meat in there, so it doesn't get eaten. You don't want to eat the rotten meat. Right, so let's make ourselves plenty of roasties. Right, so from random game. Right, so and there have been videos posted by IndieStone on Twitch where characters are driving cars around. But the way they explained it is that you may come across a survivor who was part of a group previously, and they're distrustful and they don't want to join you or join your group because in the previous group that they were in, one of the other members of this group managed to get their partner, whether that's their husband or wife, killed. And so they're distrustful of groups. They feel they're better off on their own. You may just come across characters who are just downright hostile. And so that's the thing, really. And it's just life. So, yeah. Small bird meat, small rabbit meat. I've still got rabbit meat. Have I got any more roasting pans? Probably not here. Roasting pan. Fruit roast from random game. So we could just do random game. We could add the vegetables in. Don't think it really matters. Let's put that back in the box. Pick up the carrots. What we'll do is we'll add carrots, random veg, carrots with roast, random veg, that one. And then we can cook those, and we've then got food for quite a few meals. So back to the jolly old barbecue. Grab some twigs. Put our food on there. That one's not got much on it, so what we'll do, actually grab to check out the meat that we've got. We'll add some more meat to it. That one. And what we'll do is just bulk that up because there's not much nutrition in it. You can see there's barely any, so we'll just add random game. And we'll do that. I think we can do it up to 3 times. And it now has way more nutrition, and that's what we're after. You can hear the thunder and lightning is all kicking off. Right, now let's put that on the barbecue. So there we go. Right, let's barbie that. Light fire twigs and light. You can use the rip sheets, you can use books, you can use magazines. But we need to open that up, and you see all of these will change from nutrition to cooking. and then once they've finished cooking, as before, they will become, they'll start to say, hey, I'm burning, at which point you need to take them off. And once those have cooked, I think we'll end the stream there. So I've got a ton of other chores that I need to be getting on with today, because I'm now having to pick up the chores that my wife would normally do, and she's not able to because she's resting her foot. So it's a bit of a short stream this week. Normally I would go for another 30 minutes, but grab all of those. Let's grab all, grab, and then we put the fire up. There we go, and then we've got food to eat. We'll eat. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, we'll eat half of that for the time being, so we're hungry. Might eat all of it. We've got plenty of food. Got loads of cans, loads of drink. Now you can see that it's not a very nice day to be out and about for the character, so let's just drink, and so there we go. Right, and that brings us to the end of today's live stream. We've covered quite a lot of the different things. I will actually have another go at different cookery. Actually, I always create roasts because they just seem to do a good job. Rather than being a one-off meal, you can create a meal that lasts you for several days. And if I was to go out and about in the car, I could take a couple of those with me, and they would keep me going for at least a couple of days whilst I'm out scavenging for cans of food and other bits and pieces. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out Facebook and Twitter. I am retweeting stuff from Indie Stone and for Warzone. I'm actually considering doing some Warzone live streaming, but there's quite a lot of that going on at the moment, so I might not do that. But I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope everybody shakes off all of their ailments and symptoms. And I will see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks, Supertone. I'd also like to say thank you to everyone who's got in touch on my videos to say, I hope you get better soon. It's happened. I'm here. But it's fantastic. So thank you very much for all those people. But until next week, thank you very much. Enjoy. And